And here is our number 5 seed, Sam Cooley from Australia.
All right, Sam, this shark pattern was mostly a grind for you, but the last game when you needed it, you were able to put up the front 6 there. With all the trickiness pair-to-pair here and the pressure of that moment, how were you able to step up when you needed it?
Honestly, I just figured I needed a big game, the last game, to have any kind of chance. I kind of heard a few whispers behind saying that I had to get, like, the magic number was like 232, whatever the number was. So I heard that just after the front 6, and that may have caused a little bit of complacency. But after that, I told myself, just stay clean, try and get as many pins as you can, and just wait and see.
All right, when you won your title earlier this year, you were talking to me about how you wanted to kind of prove you belonged at this level again, making that PBA League appearance again. The title, you're going to bowl for another one here. Earned your way onto the USA versus the World event. Do you think you're on the track towards proving that?
I think it definitely helps. After bowling pretty well in 2021 and that not being any kind of factor going into the draft for the next year, it was very frustrating because despite having a really good year, I still thought they may have carried some weight. But it's saying that gave me a lot of fire and a lot to prove that I deserve a spot on the team. And funnily enough, after that happened, I started bowling a lot better. Going back to your point about the World Series being a grind, especially with this pattern, pair-to-pair is so tricky. You have to be patient, and you can look around and see a bunch of strikes, and you look at your score, and it's like night and day different. But you know that as they get tighter, the more times we re-oil, it will be a lot tougher to score. So I just kept that in my mind and just tried staying as patient as I could, and I was able to shoot the biggest block of the tournament on probably the hardest condition, which is very satisfying now, realizing that it made me get into the finals for Shark.
Where was your mindset at coming into this last block, knowing that you had some work to do to get in?
The mindset was kind of similar to the block before. I knew I needed to have some scores, able to have any kind of chance, and this was going to be quite tough to score overall. I just told myself to stay patient. I started writing in a notebook during the Masters because they have their rules of not using electronics. So in order to know the moves and pair-to-pairs, I started writing in that. That's carried over into the World Series. And if anything, that's been a very big mental tool because now, if at any point it feels like I have to react, I've written on the cover of the book, only write in here what you want and how you would normally react, and leave it. After it's written, you give it no other power.
You know, it's funny, I took a peek at your notebook during that last game, and in big, huge letters on one page, it said, "Wait on it." What was it? What exactly was "wait on it"? There was so many ways somebody could see that and apply it in bowling. What was that factor for you at that moment?
It was just a mental key that I could feel physically when I threw a good shot. And once I identified that, it kind of snowballed from there. I was able to just tell myself, just keep waiting on it, and that produced the better shots. The ones that weren't as good, I could almost tell straight away that I wasn't able to wait on the ball, whether it was missing right, missing left, tugging, missing off my hand, it could have been anything. But having that as my biggest key, those last two blocks, obviously puts me here, that puts me with a chance.
You're in a situation that's unlike the American players here, where your family, your friends, they're back in Australia. How do you let them share this success with you?
It is very tough. Sorry. Family, I just had my dad. After losing mum back in 2021, she wasn't able to see what's happened since, obviously. So that as well has been a very big motivator because she had sacrificed so many things to get me to this point. And there's been a handful of times since that I've thought about, like, this, I can't do this anymore. But because she had sacrificed so much financially, time-wise and even health, she still got me to where I needed to be. And I couldn't let that go to waste. My dad is able to watch here and there, either through Bowl TV or if we're able to get Fox Sports back home. Friends, very similar. They can watch it on Bowl TV, they can tune into Fox, they can watch it on YouTube eventually once it goes up. It's funny, I was due to go home for a friend's wedding while the World Series was on. And I was one of his groomsmen. And I said to him, look, this is just really bad timing. And I've got to do things for my sponsors. I've got to be out here bowling. And he said, look, I completely understand. This is your job. You go out there and you do that. And I said to him, I'm going to do my best to try and make it worth missing your wedding. It's funny. Just after we got done, he messaged me saying that he was squealing like a girl after I struck in the 10th. So he was watching and he was happy about that, so I thought I'd give him that little recognition.
I'm sure if you win, he'll be expecting a little bigger wedding gift.
If I can pull that off, then there'll be some sort of delayed wedding gift for sure, yeah.
Thanks for your time, Sam. You'll see him Wednesday night on FS1 for the Shark Championship. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Number 4 seed, Santtu Tahvanainen. Santtu, tell you what, another great event for you. Didn't seem to be too many bumps in the road with this one. What was the key to just kind of keeping out of trouble all during the shark pattern?
I don't even know myself. I felt like I wasn't out of trouble at any point except my second last game when I shot 290. It's been grinding all 20 games. I can't say anything else.
I saw you posted during the break, I need to avoid the 170s to make the show, and then your first game was 170. How were you able to get back on track?
I kind of felt like, well, now the 170 is done. Now I kind of shoot it on the last game. Now we just got to make some big games. And, well, we got there. 240, 220, 290, and 220.
All right, you needed that 290 to really jump into things. How were you able to do that?
Well, I didn't even know myself. On the first frame, I didn't even hit the headpin, and I was like, wow, well, it was a bad shot, and I just somehow figured it out and just kept executing good shots.
All right, this is 2 shows in 1 week. You told me before the season that you wanted to prove that last season wasn't a fluke, that you belong out here. You think you've proven that yet?
I think we are getting there because I'm high on the World Series as well. There's a chance to make that show as well, and I say if I can make 3 out of 4 shows in one event, that is proving that quite well.
Was there a time tonight when you really felt like, oh my gosh, I need to clear the heads in the air? It seemed like you were lofting toward the end. What was that point?
Actually, I saw that Chris Y end up like 270 on the third block on the last game, and he was throwing like lofting, but still like had a lot of speed on the ball. So I figured it out in my second game that why I don't try that, and it worked out really well all the last 3 games.
That seems to be your strength out here. Lofting it, getting pretty far left. How did you make that such a strength in your game?
I actually even don't know that. I always like to hook the ball, even though I like to go straight, but it's like, it's definitely my strength to be more left than anyone else, because then I can see a clear picture on the ball. So it's not like hooking too early, it's like hooking on a spot I want the ball straight.
Is that something you grew up doing? Like, how did that come to be?
I think I actually learned it to be better on it last season on the PBA. It has like, because the patterns force us to the left and especially the players during the qualification. So it has, I've been improving my game a lot while being here.
What would it mean to you to win one of these events, be it the Shark or the World Series?
I can't even say. It's like, it's still a small kid's dream to be professional. And I kind of feel like if I manage to win a title, it proves myself that I'm actually professional. So it would like fulfill a small kid's dream.
Thanks for your time, Santtu. We'll see you next Wednesday night for sure, and there's still a chance we might see you a week from Sunday in that World Championship. Match play starts on Thursday. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And here is our number 3 seed, Anthony Simonson.
All right, Samo, we've been here a few times before this. We're right back on another show. How does that sound to you?
It was an adventure to say the least today. A lot of up and down games. A lot of not really understanding what I'm supposed to do. They felt drastically different today than they were yesterday. Balls just kind of seemed to float through the front a little bit easier. Drilled a ball for this night block. Somebody actually gave me an idea to throw a urethane ball the first game. I was fortunate enough to bowl 270. Drove kind of next pair and then was able to get into a ball and then kind of catch a few breaks. The last game I had a couple of Brooklyns, but fortunate enough to hang on and get back in there.
You started with urethane. It reminded me a lot of Wichita when you made a huge run there, got the win, doing something no one else was doing out here. Did that tournament in Wichita kind of play into that decision tonight at all?
No, one of the guys just came over when I was looking through some balls. They pointed to the pitch black and was like, I used a different one, and he bowled really good the back half of the last 2 games. So I was like, well, you know what, I'm gonna try it on the fresh and see if I can bowl a little bit better than I had been doing to start off.
What was the magic combination for you tonight? Be it a release, a speed?
I think the big combo is just kind of using a smoother ball that's able to control the front to back motion, or I guess more or less the left to right, and then just figuring out how to get my ball to go through the pins a little bit better. I think I tried numerous balls, some symmetrical, cleaner stuff. Just kind of a bunch of different things, and really the only thing I hadn't tried was a really strong ball with a little bit of polish on it, just to kind of try to blend out the wet dry that you might see as the lane starts to break down. And that it blended out the wet dry, and I was able to catch a little bit of the offhits as well.
This is the second or third time on a lot of these pairs through Bolero, and you were able to make these adjustments. Was there things that you learned from the Cheetah and the Scorpion that helped you when you hit that same pair in the Shark? Like maybe the head's hooked a little earlier in this pair, or the ball went long in another pair? I mean, are you keeping a mental note of that in your head, or are you just freewheeling it going, here's what happened the first ball on each lane?
Sean Ryan's really good at taking notes, as well as the other reps, and just kind of feeding them through, obviously, each staff for their own. So I generally have a little cheat sheet in my phone from them with that. And then, as the week went on, we didn't really see too much on Cheetah in terms of lane-to-lane difference, but I felt like as we got the patterns a little bit longer, it brought in some of the funny down lane shape, and then kind of once we got onto the higher side of the bowling alley, it seemed like all of the right lanes just were generally tighter, so bowling 60 games in this building this week definitely helped you figure out some pairs.
Is there any kind of characteristic about this particular house that is different, unique on the tour?
No, I don't think so. It's 3 different patterns. It feels like, generally speaking, when you're able to find a ball or 2 that match up throughout the week in a tournament like this, you're able to kind of use that ball throughout the rest of the week, especially with there being no changeable oils throughout the week at all. So you kind of find some that match up and hope that those will get you where you need to go.
A lot of other guys get either they're done or they get the weekend off before they come back for shows. You're a busy man right away tomorrow. You got to come back USA versus the world. How cool is that going to be representing your country? And are you looking forward to bowling that first singles match?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's always cool to get to represent the USA. Got to be on Junior Team USA, as well as go over to the Weber Cup a few times, have a couple winning moments over there. So it'll be exciting. I think it'll actually be nice. Obviously, we're there to win that event as well, but in terms of looking forward to the 2 other shows that I've made, I think it'll be good to kind of get an understanding of the TV pair, an extra game or 2 under the lanes or under the lights, really, and kind of understand what that pair is doing prior to going out there and bowling the other TV shows.
I know you didn't bowl it, but are there any memories that you take from that Powerhouse event last week? I know you were there.
It's a unique place. It's pretty sweet to walk in and see everybody hanging out, and it's crazy. People say if you don't know what it is, it's pretty easy to walk by it. And then, as you're pulling up to that place, even being a bowler, it took you a second to be like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. But the old stuff, I enjoy seeing that. But no, we were happy that they were able to host us, and maybe we'll get back there sometime soon.
I know you said you wanted to set pins there, and hopefully you get a chance this week to go back and do it.
Yeah, maybe one day this week I can see if they'll put me on the payroll.
That's it. Hey, we'll see you this weekend, USA versus the World, and we're also going to see you Wednesday night for sure on the Shark Championship show on Fox Sports 1. Thanks for your time, Anthony.
Thanks, guys.
And here's our number 2 seed, Packy Hanrahan. Hey, Packy.
Hey!
Have a seat.
How we doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. All right, a great week so far. You got a little more competition, a couple days of rest before the TV shows. What's going to be the plan right now to kind of recharge the batteries?
Relax, sleep as much as I can tomorrow, and then probably head back to Chris Prather's place just for a couple days to recharge the batteries a little bit, and then come back on Monday and start practicing for the Shark Show.
All right, you made a show here last year. What takeaways from last year were able to help you kind of build on that performance this year?
Oh. To be honest, I don't even know what show I made last year. I don't know. I think it was the Scorpion. Was it? All right, yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think just like bowling on shows recently have helped me, just in terms of like being more relaxed, being able to be a little more calm. Obviously, like everybody gets nervous up there. If you don't get nervous, you don't care, right? So feeling that energy, using that energy, and just trying to stay focused and have some fun out there.
All right, I hesitate to ask this after the last one, but your buddy Kevin won here last year on this pattern.
Yeah.
What takeaways from his performance last year, the way he played the lanes? Did you apply any of that to this year's event?
No.
Okay.
I remember him winning because I was holding a camera watching him and cheering him on. But I think being the only lefty on the show is really going to be the key for me, trying to set him up and make him as nice as possible for myself. And then, like I said, just having fun.
Earlier on, you told me not once but twice about how cool it was that you got to bowl for a living. When you're out there and you're not able to get out the 7, or you can't seem to get the right ball reaction, can't get a break, how do you kind of revert yourself to that?
That's when I try and think of it the most. Like, obviously, like, you know, everybody gets frustrated at some point. You're not going to see me not get frustrated at some point. You know, we bowled 60 games. I think I shot a 140 game at some point. Like, we're all going to get mad. We're all going to get frustrated. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I was over there on 69 and 70. And I'm up on 70. I'm literally, like, about to step up. And I just left, like, the flattest 7 pin of my life. And I was like, man, like, you're locked into the show. This is cool. Like, it's still cool. I literally had that thought. And I've been trying to bring that thought more often. Like, it's awesome. And I wish more people felt the way I did. Because, like, it's super cool that I get to bowl for a living, and I don't care if you're 20 years in or if you're 4 or 5 years in like me. Getting to just compete in something for a living, being a competitive person like myself, is just, like, it's awesome.
All right, you're advancing to the World Championship here as well. 12 more games to make another major show. What's the game plan?
The game plan for that, I know we're bowling on a different pattern, so throw my purple hammer for sure, and just figure out where to throw it. So that's the key.
All right, you're 1 win away on the Shark pattern from a rematch with Ogle. You got him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
What's it going to take him down again?
Just the same thing that's been working for me lately. Just as many good shots as possible, and it's not even making good shots. I told my ball rep earlier this block, I said, you know, the only reason I make a bad shot is either lack of focus or not believing in what I'm trying to accomplish, whether, like, if I'm trying to throw a certain ball on a certain line, if I think it's going to strike and I stay focused, I'm not going to make a bad shot. It's just a matter of believing and focusing on top of that.
The first thing that happened in Jackson after you got the trophy and the check was you set them down, you went and you called your parents. They couldn't make it there. There wasn't enough time for them to get there in Jackson. You got some time. You're going to bring them in for that TV final, or they're going to have to watch at home because of other commitments? I will
definitely try and bring them in, but if they can, great. If they can't, I mean, they got to school their teachers, so middle of the week's a little tough, but hopefully they can come out. Yeah, hopefully they can come out. I definitely got to call them right after this, so for sure.
We'll see you Wednesday night, FS1 for the Shark Championship. Thanks for your time, Packy.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys.
And here is our number 1 seed, Matt Ogle.
Matt, you shot 300 the very first game of this event. Do you think that set the tone for the next 19 games to come?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes it a little bit easier when you're already in the lead. So, actually, it's only downhill from there. Actually, if you both 300. So, but it worked out.
It seems like you seem to match up pretty well in these long patterns. Would you agree with that?
Sort of, yeah. I was probably exhausted from the 40 games before that, and I got 40 games of practice. So I was pretty sharp, and on Shark you got to be pretty sharp. But it worked out, and everything went well this week.
What does it take in this event to make you feel like you've arrived? Is it being a number 1 seed? Is it winning the Shark? Is it something else? Or do you feel like you've arrived already?
Yeah, I feel like I've arrived. Dominating the Shark pattern against all these greatest players in the world is means something. For me, for confidence, for sure. And then to be, 8th or 9th in the worlds as well. So it's definitely confidence going into the show, and we'll see what happens.
All right, Packy's got the number 2 seed. He got you a couple of weeks ago. Is there anybody you want to face, or do you want to get some rematch here? Or?
I don't really care. Whoever I bowl against, I'm bowling against the pins first, and then if I beat my opponent, that's what I do.
Thanks for your time, Matt. We will see you on Wednesday night, and I know you're going to have a lot of fans back in Louisville watching you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.